Welcome. Welcome to the second of 7 recordings where I share my personal perspectives on the requirements to get from where we are to where we want to be. This current recording is also inspired by the live interactive Zoom talks on approaching the life we desire. These talks are scheduled each week on Sundays and Tuesdays. To learn more about these live interactive virtual conversations, please visit lindorconsulting.com. For this second recording, and for the next few minutes, I'm going to share with the audience my approach and how I deal constructively with my ego in order to approach the life I desire purposefully and successfully. What does that mean? It means I must first acknowledge my ego self through intent. I'll say it again. I must first acknowledge my ego self through intent. Second, I must also rebuild a structure that honors my freedom. Yes, freedom from the ego itself with passion and enthusiasm. Yeah, I'm referring to this freedom that where I need to accept the call to think differently. That is, live life knowing there's always a clear choice between settling for less and allowing others to shape my world according to their will, versus engaging the life I desire purposefully. Third, it is true though. It is true the process of untangling from the conditional programs for me is not to be taken lightly. Guess what? Because my ego is here to stay. So the way forward for me was and continue to be accept my ego self and work with it rather than against it. That is to understand the role the ego psychology play in my life and continue to play in my life. So with that in mind, and from the initial question to overcome the power of the ego for my personal commitment, go beyond the illusion of I know. This is where I can deal with it constructively. See, I look for the best approach to the following question. A simple question I ask myself. What would it take for me to deal lovingly with a person who was obsessed with survival, needs, problem solving? That's the ego. Well, what worked for me? See, this is again for me, all right? For me was that I would start by being non-threatened and friendly. That means using acceptance and love languages. Then I would want to demonstrate that I was dependable and trustworthy. That is, taking responsibility. After that, I would want to get to know and understand something about this other person. Yes, I mean, gain knowledge and an understanding about my ego self or that person. Then I would proceed very carefully, gently, patiently, always showing and reassuring this other person or my ego self that I was competent. I had all covered, that everything was all right, no judgment. And lastly, when the other obsessed person or the ego self told me something, I listened. Of course, I would listen, of course. There I would stay quietly, critically. It made allowances for the obsessed focus on the person. Well, to ensure that worked and the success of overcoming the power of the ego and deal with it constructively, I also had to invest in my personal development. I had to do the work. It's not just simply know about it or talk about it. I need to do something. That means I need to apply the tools that's out there, the proven tools that will help me to, one, be mindful of the present moment. Two, improve on the development of my higher self-awareness. Three, the proven tools that will help me to have self-control as I take meaningful pause while I gather my thoughts through to cognitive flexibility or mental flexibility. You see, this has to happen without the usual resistance, of course, and judgment that has caused me in the past to react poorly. Listeners, I'm happy to report to this work and work with investing in myself and my personal development. I was able to improve my cognitive, social, and psychological development. This also has given me the ability to, one, reframe my thinking about negative situation or people. Two, maintain my skills of reasoning, problem solving, and planning played a critical part on increasing my emotional intelligence quotient. And lastly, this has given me the ability to make it a priority to nurture myself with a steady diet of commitment. There I can bring healing to the wounded parts of me that often sabotage my ability to take a conclusive action to live the life I desire. Well, I must also note, by increasing my emotional intelligence quotient, I was able to sidestep life's continuous drama barrage and manage each moment in an appropriate manner. There I can shift my attitude to a softness attitude. Yes, this is where I was able to establish a powerful blend of courage, a powerful blend of resolve, a powerful blend of tenacity and discipline needed for me to become aware of the ego's distractions and accept them as they appear through learning the required skills for me to live in the moment. Yes, this required creative courage, deep meaning, intelligence, artistic expression, and organic behavior. So I also need to question the integrity of what I was given as a child or as a young man. Those beliefs, yes, those belief systems. I need to question the integrity of those beliefs and knowing that I'm good enough, I'm skilled enough, I am intelligent enough, I have enough heart to live my life with a powerful sense of purpose, the life I desire. Well, it comes to the point where I need to avoid giving others the power to dictate the amount of time it takes me to respond and to get into the mindset of being and doing rather than fearing. I hope you hear this. I'll say it again, being and doing, not doing and being. You must be and do, being and doing rather than fearing. That can transform those belief systems, the old belief system, to one in which I can be inspired. Yes, I can be motivated to, one, avoid being at the mercy of the whims of others by mitigating the effects of their actions, to assume 100% responsibility for the authorship of the life I desire, and that I can become the mental architect of my own personal transformation and find limitless possibilities. 3, be defiant. Yes, be decisive. Be determined to do the work. Yes, I needed to do the work that was required and continue to require for me to bring meaning to the life I want, to the life I desire. 4, yes, I also need to respond effectively to life's stressors. Yes, as I leverage my natural talents and core values. And lastly, I must continue to take inspired actions. Yes, inspired actions. Actions that allow me to eliminate my inner saboteurs, at least neutralize the ego self. Yes, there I could stay in touch with the wonders of my life by devoting myself to something more, something with incredible proportion, something that allows me to reach beyond my challenging times and enhance the quality of the life I desire. Well, with this in mind, in the next series of recording, I will start with the following question. Why would I want to eliminate or manage my inner saboteurs that have stopped me from being in touch with the wonders of life? Why? What are some of the benefits with the process of eliminating or managing my inner saboteurs? What would happen if I choose to allow others to shape my world according to their will and seeing the absence of what I truly want and my performance and do nothing about it? This is it. So thank you for listening and for considering visiting LandorConsulting.com. I'm also hopeful you will join one of the live talks. So for now, be well and safe.